What if the key to peace, clarity, and success wasn't in doing more, but in saying less? Discover a powerful Buddhist story that reveals how silence can transform your life, calm your mind, and awaken your true inner strength. This might just change the way you speak and live forever. Underneath the surface of constant noise and endless conversation lies a truth we seldom consider. Silence is one of the most powerful forces available to the human spirit. It's in silence that the mind begins to rest, the heart begins to speak, and the soul finds space to breathe. Most people, however, fear silence. They associate it with emptiness, loneliness, or inactivity. But silence is not the absence of life. It is the presence of awareness. When we remove ourselves from the habitual stream of speech and sound, we enter the depth of our own being, where clarity and peace naturally arise. In Buddhist teachings, silence is not a retreat, but a return. A return to our essential nature, to the inner landscape that is always present but often drowned out by the chaos of everyday life. Gautama Buddha himself was known for his long periods of silence. He would sit among his disciples, not speaking, not teaching through words, but through presence. And in that silent presence, deep truths would emerge. His students came to understand that sometimes words limit understanding, while silence allows it to expand. Consider the metaphor often used in Buddhist thought. The mind is like a muddy pond. If you keep stirring it, the water remains cloudy. But if you let it settle, the mud falls to the bottom and the water becomes clear. This clarity doesn't come from effort or force, it comes from stillness. In the same way, when we stop talking, stop reacting, stop constantly engaging, our thoughts begin to settle. And in that settling, wisdom becomes visible. It's easy to believe that we are more effective, more intelligent, more respected when we speak often. But the opposite is often true. Those who speak less and listen more tend to earn deeper respect. Their words carry weight. In many ancient cultures, the wise were not the ones who spoke the most, but the ones who knew when to speak and when to remain silent. Their restraint was a sign of discipline, presence, and understanding. Modern life, however, rewards volume. We live in a culture where speaking loudly and often is seen as strength, and silence is mistaken for weakness. Social media amplifies this habit. Everyone has an opinion, and everyone wants it to be heard immediately. But just because something is said does not make it meaningful. Quantity of speech does not equal quality of thought, and in many cases, excessive talking becomes a way to avoid ourselves. We talk to fill space, to escape discomfort, to mask insecurity, or to seek validation. But all of these are fleeting solutions to deeper unrest. Silence, on the other hand, invites us to confront that unrest. It takes courage to be silent, to sit with your own thoughts, to observe your mind without running from it. And this is precisely why silence is transformative. In silence, we are stripped of our masks. We can no longer rely on small talk or distractions. We are left with ourselves, and this is where real insight begins. There's a story in Buddhist tradition about a king who went to a monk and complained about his restless mind. The monk did not give a lecture or advice. Instead, he offered a challenge. Spend 15 days in silence. Live as the monks do. No royal titles, no servants, no distractions, just stillness. The king resisted at first, but as the days passed, something shifted. On the first day, his mind was chaotic. On the second, he felt frustrated. By the third, he began to notice the beauty around him, the rustling of leaves, the way sunlight filtered through trees, the rhythm of his own breath. By the 10th day, he was in meditation without trying. By the 15th, he had discovered peace not from anything added, but from everything he let go. This story is not just a fable. It is a mirror for us. We chase solutions in the external world, thinking we need more knowledge, more answers, more control. But often, what we need is subtraction, not addition. We need to subtract noise, stress, chatter, and the endless commentary of the mind. We need to listen, not to the world outside, but to the world within. Scientific studies now support what spiritual traditions have known for centuries. Moments of silence activate the brain's default mode network, which is associated with introspection, memory consolidation, and creativity. Silence reduces stress hormones like cortisol and promotes neurogenesis, the growth of new brain cells. Even 2 minutes of silence has been shown to have a deeper effect on the body than listening to relaxing music. But beyond science, The true benefit of silence lies in how it changes our relationship with ourselves. When you become silent, you begin to notice your inner dialogue. You realize how often your thoughts are judgmental, fearful, repetitive. You become aware of how much energy is spent thinking about the past or worrying about the future. Silence gives you the chance to interrupt this pattern, not by fighting it, but by observing it. As you sit in silence, you see your thoughts come and go like clouds in the sky. And slowly, you realize, you are not your thoughts. You are the awareness watching them. This realization is the essence of mindfulness, and mindfulness grows in silence. Noticing your breath, feeling your body, observing your mind without judgment. All of this deepens in stillness. And the more you practice it, the more you carry that silence into your speech. You begin to speak with intention. You choose your words carefully. You understand that language is not just a tool, it is a power. It can build or destroy, uplift or wound. And when you carry silence within you, your words start to resonate like music instead of noise. This is why many spiritual masters are careful with their speech. They understand the energy behind words. In Buddhist monastic codes, there are strict guidelines on speech. Avoid gossip, avoid harsh words, avoid idle chatter. Speak only when it serves truth, compassion, and clarity. This isn't about suppression, it's about alignment. When silence becomes your foundation, your speech becomes an extension of wisdom, not an escape from discomfort. Even in everyday life, you can apply this. When you're in a conversation, try listening fully without preparing your response. When emotions arise, give them space instead of reacting immediately. When you feel overwhelmed, take a few moments to breathe and observe. These small acts of silence create a big shift in how you experience life. You move from reactivity to response, from noise to presence. You also begin to value solitude. In silence, solitude is not loneliness, it's intimacy. Intimacy with yourself. You learn to enjoy your own company. You stop seeking constant stimulation. You stop fearing boredom. You begin to appreciate the simple act of being, sitting with a cup of tea, watching the rain, walking slowly. All of these become sacred when done in silence. And through them, you reconnect with the natural rhythm of life. Silence also teaches humility. In silence, we recognize how little we control. We see the impermanence of thoughts, the unpredictability of emotions, the mystery of existence. We begin to let go of the need to be right, to be heard, to be understood. And in that letting go, we find peace. This humility brings us closer to others. When you are silent, you become a better listener. You start to hear what others truly mean, not just what they say. You become more empathetic, more patient. You give people space to express themselves. And in doing so, you create deeper connections. True connection is not built through words. It is built through presence. And silence is the foundation of presence. Many conflicts, both personal and global, arise from the inability to be silent. People speak out of anger, fear, ego. They say things they don't mean. They hurt others unintentionally. If more people practiced silence before speaking, there would be fewer arguments, fewer regrets, fewer wounds. Silence is not passive. It is powerful. It holds space for reflection, for understanding, for healing. In relationships, silence can be a gift, not the cold silence of withdrawal, but the warm silence of presence. Sitting together without needing to fill the space with words, allowing emotions to breathe, respecting each other's inner world. This kind of silence strengthens love because it honors depth over performance. In creativity, silence is essential. Great art, great ideas, great insights, they don't come from noise. They arise in moments of stillness. When the mind is quiet, inspiration can speak. This is why writers, artists, and inventors often seek solitude. They understand that silence is not the absence of input, it is the soil in which creativity grows. Even in leadership, silence is a mark of strength. A good leader doesn't dominate conversations. They listen, they observe, they think before speaking. They understand that silence can command more authority than shouting ever could. When a leader speaks from a place of inner silence, their words inspire trust, not fear. There's also a sacred quality to silence that no words can match. In many spiritual traditions, the divine is not described as a voice, but as a silence, a stillness beyond thought. In that stillness, there is unity, presence, and love. This is why meditation is central to Buddhism. It is a practice of returning to silence, of resting in that sacred stillness where the ego dissolves and the truth remains. This kind of silence is not empty. It is full of presence, full of awareness, full of life. It is the silence from which all things arise and to which all things return. It is the space between words, the pause between breaths, the stillness at the heart of existence. And it is available to you right now if you simply stop, sit, and listen. Let your mind settle like a calm lake. Let your breath guide you inward. Let your thoughts pass like clouds and rest in the silence beneath them. In this silence, you will find more than peace. You will find yourself. Begin with a few minutes a day. Sit quietly. No distractions, just breathe and observe. Over time, increase the duration. Make silence a daily ritual, not as an escape, but as a return. A return to presence, to clarity, to the source of who you are. You do not need to renounce the world or become a monk. You do not need to move to the mountains. You can find silence wherever you are, in your home, in your car, in your heart. What matters is not the setting, but the sincerity. Enter silence, not with expectations, but with openness. Let it show you what you have been too busy to see. As silence deepens, you will notice changes. Your mind becomes less reactive. Your heart becomes more open. Your speech becomes more mindful. Your actions become more aligned, and your life begins to feel more spacious, more grounded, more meaningful. Eventually, silence stops being a practice and becomes a presence. You carry it with you, even when you speak. Your words arise from a deeper place. Your conversations become more conscious. You stop chasing noise and start choosing peace. The world may remain noisy, but you don't have to absorb that noise. You can become a sanctuary of stillness in a restless world. You can be the calm in the storm, not by fighting the storm, but by knowing that the calm is already within you. Let others speak in haste. Let the world rush by. You remain still. Listen. Observe. Speak only when your words carry the weight of your silence, and let your silence speak louder than your words.